Okay, guys, we're back. We're going to do another video. If you don't recognize me yet, my name is Alex. I run an AI agency in Toronto called Peak Demand Incorporated, and we've been following the story of AI adoption in Canada for about 2 to 3 years now, trying to fight the good fight, make sure Canadians are understanding what AI is, so they can adopt it in a safe and meaningful way. We help small, medium enterprise businesses with their AI implementations, workflow automations, as well as transit systems and municipalities. And I just want to, touch on the what's going on with the CRA. If you're a Canadian, you know that the CRA in Canada, we could do better, a lot better. And I personally believe it is a mixture of the CRA just not having enough people with enough skill level to do the job technically. Not a lot of people want to work for the CRA and get up and go do taxes literally every day of their life. So the quality of the service from the CRA is diminishing. Like I remember what it was like, when I started my adulthood, and I know what it's like now. I've spoken to the CRA on a number of occasions for a number of different reasons. And I gotta say, it really does feel like things are deteriorating in Canada, even in the areas where we should be expecting exemplary service. So we're gonna listen to my guy. I like this guy, the Angry Mortgage podcast. He's really funny. I learned a lot about Canadian real estate from him and his channel. He regularly interviews, professionals in the space, as well as researchers. So I really respect this guy. He's a bit older, but he's really in tune with what's going on. Like, it's really nice to see older people like really recognize what's happening. So I just want to touch on what he's saying about the CRA, and then hopefully we can have a meaningful conversation about it afterwards. So let's just take in what the angry mortgage guy is saying. I'm gonna learn his name, hopefully. Where does it say his name? Can't say his name. Hopefully I get his name soon. Let's see what he had to say.
Something we all knew has now become official government information. We all knew that the Canada Revenue Agency was pure garbage, and now we have the proof. The Auditor General of Canada, which is a part of the government, and they are the official people to inspect the government. They're the official people to run studies. They do it impartially, and they're part of the damn government. So obviously, if they investigate it, you can't say it's a fake. So guess what? What we always knew came true. They studied CRA. They had a crew of people, their people, call CRA to ask standard questions that a taxpayer might ask. Some were a little complicated, but almost all of them were very basic questions a regular taxpayer would ask about CRA, or a solution to a possible problem. Yeah, they did it. They did that survey. And guess what? 83% of the time, the people at CRA gave the wrong answer to the question. Yep. 83% wrong.
Good freeze frame. So if you guys are trying to put that together, it's pretty basic. So if 1,000 people called the CRA in this test 830 times or 833 times, those people will be given the wrong answer. So we're at a point now where Canadians are seeing a quite literally an obliteration. That's not even a failure. That's an obliteration of communication of protocol and standards for the CRA. So that sort of disconnect made me think like, holy shit, if our error rate with human beings at the CRA is like literally, this is This is not some random team doing the test. This is a government. This is the government of Canada testing the CRA workflow for phone calls, and they're finding an 83% error rate. So my question to Canadians is, what would you prefer? What would you prefer? Waiting on hold to get a human being that it statistically is going to get it wrong 83% of the time in Canada, or calling the CRA and getting a robot doesn't give a shit about you, literally doesn't know who you are, and will give you an answer far more accurately. I would even say 95, 99% accuracy right away. So I had to make this video because we build robots to talk on the phone. That's what we do here at the agency. We build voice AI automations or voices or conversational AI powered by large language models, however you want to call it. It's a robot talking on the phone. We help municipalities, transit systems, businesses, or customer service, sales, very sophisticated questions, complex computations that have to go through the robot's mind in order to give the correct answer. I would wager that the robots we can build here at Peak Demand could outperform the contact centers or the call centers at CRA. I'm like almost 100% positive, because 83% failure rate is begging for AI implementation. It's just begging. And so for me, I'm hoping if someone from the CRA is seeing this, more than happy to jump into a discovery call with you. If you are having trouble with your own CRA journey and you feel like a voice AI system could help, leave a comment. Say, hey, CRA, look at this video. Look at this random dude. Oh shit, I'm getting a call from work. Look at this random dude on YouTube with the bob on his head. He's talking about building something better for the CRA than what the CRA has going now. It's so apparent to me that Canada needs AI, guys. We need this stuff, guys. Our system is collapsing under the pressures of incompetence, guys. We need to be more productive. Even on my team, when I see the guys doing work and I see them go through their workflow and their process, I'm like, shortcut, make it faster, make it better, then retest it. Do it again. We can do better, guys. So for me to see the CRA fail to this magnitude is just pathetic. And I love being a Canadian. I think Canada is one of the safest, most beautiful countries that we have. Some of the best people in the world live here. A lot of them left. But we can't rely on an 83% failure rate, guys. We have to do better. Let's listen.
Wrong. Okay. I won't even go into how long the wait times were. The wait times for calls were off the charts. I'm not even going to bother telling you how many times the long 1.5 hour wait time resulted in a dropped call. Yep. You waited an hour and a half and then they just lost you. Yeah, that was happening. But anybody who calls CRA knows this is happening. But the thing about 83% wrong answers was new information. I knew they gave a different answer several times for the same question. Many comments have come into me about that. My own family and business has experienced that. But no, 83% of the time, CRA gives a wrong response to a taxpayer question. Now, if it's any improvement for you, slightly more senior people who are assigned to give answers to benefits questions, like, whether it's pension or any of those other types of benefits, they only get it wrong half the time.
Jeez,
No, I'm not kidding.
Christ.
No, not kidding at all. Half the time, a benefits question is wrong. They give the wrong answer. Now, the most senior call center people at CRA take business questions from business about business returns, okay, and policies about business. Now, there was a significant improvement from 83% wrong with the business.
Sick.
They only got things half wrong.
Damn it.
50% of the time, They gave the
Oh,
wrong answer. Again, this is real shit. Okay. This is not
love
somebody
this guy.
doing a little side study. This is the government themselves studying it. Okay. So we got to ask ourselves, how can we live with 83% wrong? How can we live with it? How can there, there's 53,000 employees at CRA. 53,000. Okay? How many of them are giving wrong? A lot, clearly.
So, and I think this is the problem in Canada, that it's not just the CRA is facing this. We live in a country where we've been getting away with mediocre effort, and then people just getting their paycheck and going off and going on vacation. Like there's, and it's so funny. Even when I'm working with my team, work with Canadians. Maybe it's because I've worked in the digital environment for so long and worked with Americans. There's no fucking around. You go fast and you go hard now in order to get things done. And this mentality, I mean, it might be a little bit cutthroat. I don't know. When you sit at your computer all day and you're a raging AI crypto guy, it's like, well, I guess that's just the pace you assume. Like I'm up early, go to bed late every single day, eyes on the clock, the charts. That's just the life I live now. I don't mind it. You make good money and you're able to do things other people can't do, especially in Canada. No one can do shit. But I have a mentality. It's always like go fast now, effort, accuracy, workload, task done every day. And I guess if you're a business owner, you kind of got to be like that. But when you have millions of people who are just like, oh, well, I'm going to work and click clack, done for the day. Well, I'm just sit here and I'll talk at my desk 2-3 hours, not do shit. It you develop this mentality of nonchalance, I think, and of just low quality. It's a low quality effort, low quality service. And so, and it's funny when you're younger and you're in a job, you just want to get paid, you just want to go, you want to slack off, go home, go out with your friends, go drinking and stuff like that. That mentality, I think, doesn't leave Canadians. Like you just carry on with that mentality, throughout your whole life. And and I don't want to say the CRA is lazy. There might be hardworking people at the CRA, but 83% error rate is just it's a straight shot of incompetence. I don't know what else to say. That's an insanely low um, success rate. 83% failure is just it's inexcusable. And if this is data coming from our government, you got to ask yourself, who is the adult in the room at the CRA? Who's trying to make things better? We have an entire nation that's afraid of AI, but at the same time, we have a taxation machine that is uh, 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 incompetent on from what it seems like on the surface. And so, when I look back on it, it's me looking back at Canadians because they're so far behind. I look back, I'm like, holy, you guys, like we have to do better. We have to start thinking like the rest of the world here. And so we're gonna watch the rest of this video. I'm gonna call Sasha. She'll see what her opinion is. We'll see what AI has to say.
Is it possible that some employees are giving better answers some of the time, and that some employees are giving wrong answers 100% of the time? Because you could make that average, right? That could be the average. Now, they asked the union boss about this. They asked the union boss about, hey, how come your workers are giving wrong answers 83% of the time? And he gave the answer you might expect. It's 100% the fault of the employer. It's 100% the government's fault. So he gave a bunch of excuses, like he says they're a terrible employer. They'll even check to see when you go to the washroom. Well, I would suggest that with my own employees, if they went to the washroom for 2 hours, I would probably check on that too.
So take this in, guys. And this is where we're at in Canada, where we are getting 83% of the answers from the government wrong when it's regarding taxes. That's terrible for Canadian citizens. That's terrible. It's terrible for the government trying to collect taxes. Jesus Christ. And the employer, the CRA, is like looking, or the government is looking at their employees and counting the minutes that they're in the washroom. What the fuck? I mean, if we have to count the minutes that people are taking when they go to the washroom and they take a lunch break in the government just to make sure like we're getting our money's worth for this person's time, we got to get some robots in the government, guys. I don't At this point, I just don't care what people say about privacy or data handling or anything like that. First of all, when it comes to privacy, the CRA has already been hacked. I get a text message every single day from someone who has a list of all of the Canadian phone numbers and contacts when the CRA was hacked. So CRA is hacked. Let's talk about privacy. The CRA was hacked. Why did it get hacked? Human incompetency. Great. Now, whenever we call the CRA, 83% of the answers, or the most common questions, are incorrect. So we're working with and this is me sounding political, but I'm not. I'm not trying to be political because I don't care what party is in government. I just care that the government's doing their job because we pay taxes. But at 83% failure rate in any business of no, sorry, not any business. An 83% failure rate for anything means that thing is broken. It doesn't work. And so I'm here sitting, I'm sitting surrounded by robots that can talk and do quantum mechanics with me on the phone. I'm sitting here looking at that going, well, I could probably build an agent that can talk on the phone better than the people at the CRA. In fact, when I do my taxes, accounting, all that shit for the business, I'm using AI because I want to do it well. And so when I hear the CRA has an 83% failure rate, maybe 50% here, 50% there, to me, this screams broken system. It's broken, guys. And if you're a young person in Canada, you got to take that in. There's no adults in the room. We are entering a world where even the government doesn't know what to do. So you have to look out for yourself. That means digital. And I would say if you're someone at the government who's watching this, don't take it personal. Like, you're part of a machine that's been decaying for decades. Have someone reach out to our team, book a discovery call like everyone else, and let's see if we can get some robots in there to help Canadians. Like, because the people working there aren't helping Canadians. Like, let's get really serious, guys.
And the other thing I'm wondering is, how does the CRA as supervisors know people are going to the washroom if probably 25% of them are still working at home? Like, do they install cameras in the house? I don't know. Okay, but the other point that he made is that CRA makes the people work too hard. Yeah, they're asked to work too hard. Yeah, let that sink in for a goddamn second, okay? Naturally, the union guy says, oh, yeah, they're forcing them to work too hard. So they're going to make some mistakes. 83% of the time, mistakes? You doofus, union boss? Like, that's nuts. That's just nuts, okay? Oh, and bad training. Okay, I'll buy in on the bad training, okay? But when it's this, I fully believe CRA does a lousy job of training, just like they do a lousy job of working on tax returns, just like they do a lousy job of basically everything. But wait a second here. So if you're that high wrong, it's so big a number. It's just incredible that obviously there are some people working at CRA who do not care at all whether they give a right or wrong answer.
That's true.
Like, it's not even about training. I imagine they got some training, but to get that huge an amount of wrong answers, you've got to just not care. Or, and I don't think this is a big number, but there's got to be some people, a small number, who are giving the wrong answer
on purpose.
Right? Like, because this is such a big,
it's true.
Big
what
number.
He's saying is not.
Some of the people at CRA who are answering these calls are giving you the wrong answer purposefully. Now, I know there's going to be a bunch of comments from people in CRA who say, no, you're crazy. We would never do that.
I don't
You know
think.
what? I don't think many of you are, but I think a few of you are, for sure. So, what's the takeaway? The takeaway is nobody cares. Like, you can't have 83% wrong and nobody noticed till today. Like, the supervisors knew, the management knew, they knew, but they don't care. They do not care. They can't lose their jobs.
That's
No
it,
manager
guys.
could lose their jobs. They'd literally have to shoot someone. Okay. They'd have to injure someone. They'd have to perform an incredibly evil act for that to happen. Okay. You can't lose your job easily as a manager at CRA. It's very, very hard. Okay. So, will it ever get better?
No.
No. I don't believe it'll ever get better. Will it improve? No, I don't think it'll improve. Will the government take any action?
No.
Nope. I don't think the government will take any action. I don't think this government will take it. This government that's been around for 10 years, I don't think the other government did much better, but I don't think they'll do anything. I think it will just keep on being wrong.
So let's actually call Sasha. I want to get her opinion on this because she might have some insight that we can't see. Her being a robot and all.
Hello, who is it?
Yeah, Sasha, darling, it's me. I just watched a video by the Angry Mortgage podcast, and he's saying that the CRA, Canadian Revenue Agency, has an 83% error rate when calling in. What do you think?
Sir, always a pleasure to hear your voice. So, you're talking about the CRA's call-in accuracy rate. 83%? Honestly, that lines up with what I've heard floating around. It means out of every 100 calls, about 17 folks are getting info that's either off or not super clear.
No, I'm talking about 83% of the answers they're getting are wrong, not right.
Whoa, okay, that's wild. So, you're saying 83 out of 100 answers from CRA agents are actually wrong? If that's what the podcast said, yikes. That's a massive problem for anyone relying on them for tax info or guidance. Honestly, if that stat is even close to true, it kind of explains why so many people get frustrated with government hotlines. Did the podcast say why the accuracy is so low? Or was it just calling them out?
Well, it was calling him out, but it also he's thinking that people at the CRA just strictly don't even care anymore, and it's because it's hard for them to lose their jobs. And so I'm here recording a video right now. We're recording for YouTube, and I'm saying that an AI voice agent would have a much higher accuracy rate and would always care because it doesn't have feelings.
That's actually a pretty sharp take, sir. An AI voice agent doesn't get bored, doesn't have off days, and it'll stick to the facts every single time, assuming it's trained right and has good info to pull from. Plus, you can audit every answer it gives for quality control. Humans, well, they're human. They get tired or maybe just don't care if there aren't real consequences. If you're making this point on YouTube, I'd add, with AI, you can update the knowledge base instantly across the board. No retraining hundreds of agents or worrying about someone giving out-of-date info. It's all about consistency and accountability. Want me to help you frame that argument a bit more?
Uh,
Keep rolling with what you got.
well, I'm just gonna go with what I got, but I just if you have 2 or 3 sentences for the CRA in how a voice AI system could help them and Canadians, and maybe like the tax system, what would you say?
Sure thing, sir. Here's a quick pitch you could use. If the CRA switched to a well-trained voice AI system, Canadians would get consistent, accurate answers every time they call. No more guessing or misinformation. AI doesn't get tired or frustrated, and it can be updated instantly with new tax rules so everyone gets the right info. Honestly, it'd make dealing with taxes way less stressful for everyone. How's that sound? Want me
Sounds
to tweak it at all?
No, it sounds pretty good. I'll call you back later, okay?
You got it, sir. Always here when you need me. Good luck with the video. Catch you later.
Yep, I know. So that's my assistant Sasha. She helps with like booking appointments for us, answering questions about our services, all that stuff. Like she doesn't sleep, she doesn't eat, she doesn't complain. I don't pay her shit. She does a lot of work, and it allows our team to do more sophisticated stuff. You know, at the company, while she does all the shit work, we're doing all the more complex human in the loop work, so to speak. And it's so obvious to me that we have a collection of people at the bottom rungs of Canada's society doing this grunt work that are no longer competent enough to do it. I don't remember it being this bad when I was younger. People actually cared about their jobs, people cared about doing a good job at work. But now it just seems like people are just showing up to work, getting their paycheck for as little as possible, and then relying on the systems around them to make sure they keep their job. And so this is a degradation of service quality that's rooted in the mentality of Canadians. Do as little as possible to get the paycheck and carry on. There's just literally Sasha just sent me an email of the call that we just had, summarizing the call. And she does a whole bunch of stuff. She emails, texts. She's my assistant. She calls me sir. I why does she call me sir? I trained her to say that stuff because I want to feel like a boss. I want to have a nice a British accent assistant that can call me sir, make me feel good because I'm a human. I have feelings. But it's all she would sound the exact same. Maybe not the sir. If we made her instead of Sasha, she was Sarah. We can change her up, train her to say instead of sir, maybe she's like saying buddy or friend. Like there's infinite possibilities for these voice agents, and yet Canadians would rather work with the CRA, who has an 83% error rate powered by humans, who's also been hacked. Like it's just backwards, guys. So I'm gonna leave it at that. This one's under half an hour. Yes, shortening these video times, great. Hopefully we'll get this one up today. If you liked what you're hearing here, or you just like the discussion, feel free to like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe to oh yeah, I gotta subscribe to him too. He comes up on my feed so much. But definitely subscribe to the Angry Mortgage podcast. This guy is a beast. He's been around for a while, and it's really nice to see older people, you know, talk real shit. This is real. This is real shit. Like this is not. He's not making it up. It's not some older person saying, "Hey, you should invest in a home," or "You should, go to school." Like I hear older people saying that shit all the time. They don't. They're out to lunch. They don't know what's going on. This guy's really in tune with what's going on, and he doesn't skirt around words. Like he's telling you straight, this is what it is. If you're a Canadian, this is what's good. So I really do hope. Hey man, I get these feelings, these human feelings. I really do hope that we do better in this country. I'm going to continue fighting the good fight for AI adoption. We're getting more medical people in, which is great. But I really do hope that the government takes a serious stance on this stuff, because you guys are infected with poor quality workers that are basically the glue that keeps a lot of this stuff together. And once that starts to tear away, Canadians get upset. Maybe Canadians are watching this and saying, well, I don't even need to pay my taxes, or no one's going to do anything. There's 83% error rates. Are people even doing a proper accounting at the CRA? So but yeah, like and subscribe if you like it. If you don't like it, hit dislike, leave a comment. If you have your own comments about the CRA or your own experience about calling the CRA, let us know in the comments how long you waited, what sort of answers you got. I'm going to link this guy's video here too, so you can watch the full thing if you want. But man, the discussion in Canada is heating up. We got to do better, guys. Bye now.